Shabbat Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. I hope you're doing well. Well, there's two things I need you to know. Now, some of you have been in touch with me because you're letting me know that there are two live streams appearing. That is true. What they are doing now is breaking them out. One live stream is for people that are on computers and laptops. And the other live stream is separating people that are using cell phones and tablets. So now you're seeing them do an account of the people on computers and a count of people on cellular devices. So that's why you are seeing it twice. So just to explain that to you. And that also will let you know that those are people using StreamYard. So I hope that explains and clears up why you see it twice. All right. So we're going to talk about something that has gone viral, especially now, all of this news that's coming out of Minnesota with the Somalians being deported and Ilhan Omar coming out in the news a lot lately because, there are many accusing her of doing a lot of illegal activities. There's a lot of scamming going on, and they're also accusing her of being part of the scam. And part of that is marrying her brother in order for him to get his citizenship here in the US. So this occurred, when did this happen? 2016. She was over here first. She brought her brother over, and people are saying she married her brother. Now, there is documentation to support this claim that she married her brother. Now, there's all kinds of claims, and I don't know how factual a lot of these claims about Somalians do these kind of things. I don't know. It's not like it is a place that's um that is really a well-ran country, because we know it's not. It's very lawless. It does not have any kind of good structure or order over there, and it's really not a safe place to be at all. In fact, y'all, I've heard people call it the Nigeria of the East. Okay, and you know what Nigeria is known for scamming, and they're saying that Somalia is Nigeria, but just on the east side of Africa. So we're going to hear what people have to say, and things they have found to support the fact that Ilhan Omar married her own brother in order to help him get citizenship over here in the US. Now, she is now married to a white man, and I think this is her third marriage. Uh, I think she married another Somali man, her brother, and now her current husband is a white man, which is strange because of the way she talks about white people, which is not very favorable, but she married a white man. Go figure. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, is saying that he's actually proud to have the largest Somali community in the country, and his police
Well, then he's a fool.
well, his police chief is also saying
God, they have the largest Somalian. Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. Look, uh, these Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, it just happened. She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman, and I'm sure people are looking at that. And she should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota, you have an incompetent governor. You have a crooked governor. He's crooked as hell, but he's incompetent. Waltz he should be ashamed. That beautiful land, that beautiful state, it's a hellhole right now. And the Somalians should be out of here. They've destroyed our country. And all they do is complain, complain, complain. You have her. She's always talking about the Constitution provides me with, go back to your own country and figure out your Constitution. All she does is complain about this country. And without this country, she would not be in very good shape. She probably wouldn't be alive right now. So Somalia is considered by many to be the worst country on earth. I don't know. I haven't been there. I won't be there anytime soon. I hope. But what the Somalian people have done to Minnesota is not even believable. It's not even believable. And a lot of it starts with the governor. A lot of it starts with Barack Hussein Obama, because that's when people started coming in. And you have to have people come in that are going to love our country, cherish our country. They want to kiss our country goodnight. They talk about our country. We want them to pray for our country. This is not the people living in Minnesota. And she's a disaster. She should not be, and her friends shouldn't be allowed. Frankly, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople. Okay? They shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople because they don't represent the interests of our country. Anybody else?
It also, so she comes into the country and is stirring up fraud. This lady marries her biological brother so that he can get citizenship in this country. But that not only that, once President Trump made his statements, I want you to listen to what she feels Somalians are to this country. Check this out.
Somali Muslim Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is now under fire after she claimed that Somalis are the foundation of America and the reason why it's thriving.
Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation. So not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American.
Somali Muslim Ilhan Omar is now under fire after she claimed that Somalis are the foundation of America and the reason why it's thriving. She also claimed that Somalis aren't going anywhere. These statements from the Muslim Congresswoman has garnered controversy online. Commenters claimed that the founding fathers weren't Somali and that Ilhan Omar shouldn't be a congresswoman. But what do you think about Ilhan Omar's statements? Do you think Somalis are the foundation of America? Let me know your thoughts down below.
And see, this lady is a radical. And when she steps up on stage, she talks like that. Hey, it doesn't make us any less American and blah, blah, blah. We're the fabric. Now let's check real quick into what's going on out there in Minnesota. And then I'm going to let you hear this other video clip of Ilhan Omar that will blow your mind because it gets much worse. So Somali autism fraud in Minnesota may have gone over $1 billion and is linked to the Somali $250 million Food Feed Our Future food aid fraud. Autism claims to Medicaid in Minnesota shot up from $3 million in 2018 to $400 million in 2023 and 2024 for a total of $1.4 billion. And here's the chart. And look at what happened when COVID hit in Minnesota. They just went crazy. They lost it. Now, check out these numbers by Benny Johnson, a conservative media person, you may be familiar with Benny, like Benny. Minnesota Somali community has been caught funneling taxpayer dollars to terrorist group Al-Shabaab overseas by falsely diagnosing children with autism through Medicaid. Look at the insane spike in claims, $3 million to $400 million. You mean to tell me autism in Minnesota kicked off that much? Where you're looking at literally like 120 times over? No. Within the same time period, autism centers skyrocketed from 41 to 328, with many of them being in Somali communities. Your tax dollars are being stolen and shipped over to people who hate us and want us unalive. You should be furious. This is a direct result of careless immigration policies. Facts. Facts. Now, listen to this. This is going to blow your mind. And you tell me, do you feel she should be deported or she should be booted out of Congress after this statement? Check this out.
In jidadkeenii aan wada dhisano, anigu waan ahay gabar Maraykanka laga doortay oo Congress-ka Maraykanka ku jirto. Laakiin waxaan ahay gabar Soomaaliyeed, gabar idinku jinsi ah, gabar idinku af ah, gabar idinku diin ah, oo hadde qof iyadoo da'yar waddankeedii laga kaxeeyey weli xiise u qabto in maalin waddankeedii ay ku noolaato oo dadkeedii wax ay la wadaagto. Marka alxamdulilah waxaan rajaynayaa aniga iyo ilmahayga in aan hadde ku barbaariyo iyagana ilmahooda ay ku barbaariyaan dhulkii aniga aan ku soo koray. Taasna haddii ay suurtagelayso waa hadde shaqo badan inaan wada qabannaa hadduu ilaahay yidhaahdo oo aan ka dhignaa dhulkeena dhul barwaaqadiisa dadka oo dhan ay dareemi karaan oo ay arki karaan oo ay ka wada faa'iidaysan karaan.
I'm telling you, the fact that this woman feels comfortable enough in America to come out and announce that shit that is like a slap in the face to Americans. It's a slap in the face. And this is within our government, people, within our own government. This woman and the things that she's saying, like, they will do what I say. They will do what we say. They will do what we want. No bullshit. This is America. This is America. That is illegal. Just in case you don't know who this woman is, let me show you. Yeah. What is going on in this world today? Do you see how comfortable she was to come out and say what she said? She said she'd do anything basically to protect her brother. What else have you done? Everything that you've said, I want to know what else you've done.
U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar married her brother? Ew, that's nasty. This allegation popped off back in 2016 from an anonymous post saying that she was in a fraudulent marriage to assist her brother with immigration. Omar legally married Ahmed Nursaid Elmi back in 2009. Only a year after the allegation came out, they were legally divorced. So follow me. They were married for 6 to 7 years, and then the allegation pops off. It takes a year to get divorced in America anyway. So right after the allegation, the relationship is over? Suspension. Her defense, she said that this allegation was absurd and offensive. However, all she's done is vocally deny. She hasn't dropped any paperwork to back any of it up. After 9 years? Now, there is no public conclusive evidence that Ahmed is Omar's brother. However, back in 2012, Ahmed referred to one of Omar's children as his niece. Oh my God. I was Ilhan Omar being accused of incest and fraud. I would immediately drop all documentation necessary to clear my name. Like anybody else would. The biggest question is, why hasn't she? Would you let an allegation run rampant like this, or would you cough up the information needed? Let me know in the comments. All I know is Minnesota and fraud have been in the same conversation a lot recently.
And then as you see here, hopefully you can see it, there is her with her white man husband, even though she hates white people.
I mean, I have no worry. I don't know how they take away my citizenship and like deport me, but I don't even know like why that's such a scary threat. Like, I'm not the 8-year-old who escaped war anymore. I'm grown. My kids are grown. Like, I can go live wherever I want.
U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Director Joseph Edlow has revealed widespread immigration fraud among nearly half of all Somali immigrants in Minneapolis, involving forged documents, fake marriages, missing employers, and non existent businesses profiting off of taxpayer funded incentives. Let's take a listen.
Officers from our Fraud Detection and National Security Directorate, working in teams, have conducted over 1,000 site visits across the Minneapolis-St. Paul area as part of this operation. What they found should shock all of America. Focusing on a list of over 1,000 target cases involving more than 900 individuals, our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed. We found troubling patterns with the Uniting for Ukraine program that should have raised serious concerns under other administrations, such as an individual filing to sponsor more than 100 aliens and organizations sponsoring hundreds. We are continuing to investigate these cases. Some of the other troubling cases that our officers found. In one case, officers identified an alien who had overstayed his visa waiver, who was the son of a known or suspected terrorist on the no-fly list. He had previously been found to have engaged in marriage fraud, which resulted in the denial of several immigration benefit requests. He was arrested and is now presently being returned to his country of origin. In another, an individual admitted to obtaining a fake death certificate in Kenya for just $100 to prove he was no longer married. In reality, his wife is alive, living here in Minneapolis, and is the mother of 5 of his children. And incidentally, he has another wife living in Sweden with whom he has an additional 3 children. In another case, an alien entered the United States without inspection in 2023, was released by Border Patrol. The alien married a U.S. citizen while in removal proceedings and was interviewed at the Minneapolis-St. Paul USCIS field office just last week, where both he and his American spouse, stated under oath that their marriage was legitimate. The USCIS officers conducting the interview were suspicious. The site visits were authorized the same day. The American spouse ultimately that afternoon admitted the marriage was fraudulent and entered into solely for immigration purposes and withdrew her petition for that alien. This type of same-day action for interview, from interview to site visit, has.
So we have that, but listen to what Carolyn Levitt just said. Listen to this.
I'll tell you what does not add to our nation's character and integrity is refugees who come here under the alleged plight of asylum and fleeing persecution, and then come to the United States to abuse our system and rip off American taxpayers. And as I pointed out, the New York Times, to their credit, it was about 6 months too late, but they did write about how Somali immigrants in Minnesota have been ripping off American taxpayers. In fact, 86 people have been charged in a rampant and widespread fraud scheme spanning multiple programs in Minnesota. Of those 86, 78 of those people are Somali, 91% of them charged. So far, 59 of those people have been convicted for their roles in fraud plots that have stolen $1 billion from taxpayers. In one scheme, and this is egregious, a nonprofit and its affiliates with these Somali migrants claimed to have fed tens of thousands of American children during the pandemic. They were reimbursed for those meals by taxpayers. However, federal prosecutors found that almost all of those meals were never even delivered to hungry children. In fact, those organizations' leaders spent the money on houses, luxury cars, and real estate in Turkey and Kenya. Another scheme involved hundreds of organizations who were reimbursed for services that were supposed to help people at risk of homelessness. Once again, those services were never provided. All of this has happened under Democrat leadership in a Democrat-run state where these refugees, these migrants are coming to the United States. They are abusing our system. They are draining our resources that should be going to law-abiding, taxpayer-funded, tax-paying Americans. And this president is not going to put up with it anymore.
And I want to give you some more about the fraud that's going on. I have a lot more information about it, Ilhan Omar's fraud, what's going on with these Somali refugees, what's happening in Minnesota. But I'm going to save that for my next video because there's just so much to cover, and this one's already going on long enough. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell because I promise you're not going to want to miss any of my updates. But until then, I will see you guys real soon.
These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, it just happened. She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman, and I'm sure people are looking at that. And she should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota, you have an incompetent governor. You have a crooked governor. He's crooked as hell, but he's incompetent. Waltz he should be ashamed. That beautiful land, that beautiful state, it's a hellhole right now. And the Somalians should be out of here. They've destroyed our country. And all they do is complain.
Minnesota scandal. I'm sure you've seen it. A group of people, including many Somalis, took $1 billion. Our question is, how come Governor Tim Walz did nothing about it? Because he was alerted to it early on and nothing happened. How did this happen?
Well, honestly, a lot of this stuff happens because you have these Democrat front groups who are using government money. They have people who probably work in the Walz administration who are partial to these groups. So when this money goes out the door, nobody's really tracking it. It's one of the bigger issues in our government, both federally and actually in a lot of states, is that you don't really have real controls minding the store per se. And so you have these front groups, they sign up for different grant programs, they get this money, they put some baseless line item in for why they need it, but it goes to so many other activities that nobody's tracking. So I think that the investigations into this are going to be critical. I'm glad that the Treasury Secretary is stepping up to investigate this matter. More needs to come, and there needs to be a lot of oversight on these dollars. One of the big things, Stu, and this is why USAID, when Donald Trump came into office, had to be thoroughly reviewed, shut down most of it, is because a lot of these dollars, which everybody says is going to humanitarian efforts, actually go to a lot of radicalism around the globe and here in the United States.
Defendants in this massive case are standing trial together, and their portion of the alleged scam is centered in Shakopee. At a strip mall just off the main drag in Shakopee, where Empire Cuisine and Market used to be located, Abdiaziz Farah and Mohammed Ismail claimed to serve millions of meals to Minnesota kids in 2020 and 2021. This portion of the alleged Feeding Our Future scheme involved $30 million in federal funds for which they weren't entitled, money laundering, extravagant purchases, and the help of 6 other defendants, according to federal prosecutors. Like many of the anecdotes made public in the $250 million Feeding Our Future case, some of the things the defendants in this first trial are accused of doing border on absurd. Prosecutors say the defendants claim to be serving meals to kids in places that make no sense, such as this big parking lot in Shakopee, or in derelict commercial spaces like this. According to court documents, the defendants created sham meal count sheets and phony attendance rosters with children names such as Man Sincere, Ron Donald, or even John Doe. Names the Shakopee School District is expected to testify don't exist in their schools. Then, what was done with the money? Prosecutors say they will trace how the defendants used the federal money to buy vehicles, real estate, a down payment on a $2.5 million home build, and a honeymoon in the Maldives. The 2 main defendants were also charged with passport fraud, and Ismail pleaded guilty to that. But as to the alleged meal fraud, attorneys for the defendants say they did not knowingly defraud the government.
That they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that? Well, there's a lot of talk about the fact that she was married to her brother. I know nothing about it. I hear she was married to her brother. You're asking me a question about it. I don't know, but I'm sure that somebody would be looking at that.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar spent the last 2 years denying serious allegations that she married her own brother so he could stay in the United States.
It's a story that won't go away. Ilhan Omar, Democrat, married her brother, they say. And according to an old report from just about 4 years ago, there's DNA evidence.
Now, this coming from an individual who claims that they acquired DNA, got it tested, and said, oh, hey, look, they're brother and sister. And Ilhan Omar married her brother to help him get legal papers to reside in the United States.
Tell me definitively or not, is Ahmad Elsi your brother? Hold it up.
For the markup,
Yeah. Is he your brother?
in the middle of the legislative brief. To be, we're going,
Is he your brother?
we're going to which one?
It's foreign affairs. I'll go with you. Can you tell me definitively, yes or no, is he your brother? And why can't you answer that question?
The remarks you gave him earlier.
Why did you refer to him as your child's uncle on Instagram? And why did you lie on court documents saying that you hadn't seen him since 2011, when in fact you had been talking to him all the time on Instagram?
Sir, we're not doing ambush interviews. This isn't an ambush. You can send me an email.
Why are you so afraid to answer these questions?
So it's been known for quite a while that Ilhan Omar apparently married her own brother to help him gain entry illegally into the country. That's a violation of immigration law. That actually happened, it turns out. And now we're learning the FBI had evidence to confirm it, but didn't do anything about it. Miranda Devine is an actual journalist. She works at the New York Post, where she writes a column. She joins us to explain what exactly happened. Miranda, thanks so much for coming on.
Pleasure, Tucker. Well, some basically Republican operatives up in Minnesota decided to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on private investigators to really find out if Ilhan Omar was a genetic match, the DNA match to the man who was her second husband. They went to 3 continents. They found a cigarette butt and a drinking straw, which they decided, they sent it to a DNA laboratory and found conclusively that the DNA matched, that the second husband was a sibling, according to this DNA sample. So the very day that they were going to unleash this on the world, and in fact, I was interviewing one of the people involved, the FBI swooped on the gentleman, Anton Lazaro, from this Republican PAC up in Minnesota, and arrested him on some different charges. Who knows whether he's guilty or not guilty? I mean, he's not guilty until proven, but he's in jail. And so his story never got to see the light of day. I mean, luckily he'd told the FBI they were not interested. They told him the statute of limitations had run out. We managed to see the website before he took it down, before he was arrested, and managed to report the story such as it was.
Y'all, that is some disgusting stuff, you know? And I mean, and if she did marry her brother, especially if she married him in the United States, it's not hard to find this stuff out. It's fairly easy. I mean, these things are not hard to find out at all. Everything is recorded, so it would not be hard. So, and she said she would do anything to help him with his citizenship. Well, including marriage. Yeah. So, dark skinned brother, I'd like to thank you for your support for my channel. Thank you for your super chat. That sharp-nosed, dusty, scamming Hamite gotta go. Plus, she's one of the main ones out here saying our people don't need reparations every time the subject comes up. Yeah, she definitely did that. More than once. Dark skinned brother, again, thank you for your super chat. You gotta get the hell out. To Trump, everything he says applies to him too. Yeah. Yeah, actually, it applies to his whole group. You know, they don't realize they didn't come here in a legal way themselves. They came and colonized, you know? And technically, white people in this country should be required to have a green card as well. and Boaz, yes, Yarala. Um, it's laughable how politicians on both sides are acting like they don't have blood on their hands. Who do they think taught them to cheat the system? Exactly. And thank you for your support for my channel. I deeply appreciate it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, when you really think about it, all of these Gentile groups that came here are cheaters. Every single one. I was even reading how Vivek, how he became a billionaire. He did a bunch of cheating and scamming himself. That's all these people do. It's no honor in how these folks obtain their money, you know. And I was listening to some of these Somalians over on TikTok bragging about what we live in, law. We got these big homes and big cars. Yeah, but you scam to get it. You didn't put in hard work to get that. Y'all scammed and cheated and stole from the system to get that. You didn't work hard and do any of those things. You didn't get it honestly. You got it through stealing and committing crimes. So, no, you don't get to boast now. And you saw that one dude that got deported over there. Like I said, y'all can't take none of that with you. This government ain't gonna let you take 1 red cent of all that stuff you stole in them homes and cars and bank account. You ain't gonna be able to take nothing with you. You gonna leave with not 1 red cent going back over to Somalia. You gonna be going over there broke. And you see that dude over there, they took his passport. He was over here committing all kinds of crime. That's why they deported him. And now he's on camera crying to Black Americans to help him. You ain't got to help him. We ain't got to help none of you Somalians. We ain't got to help none of you. Mm-mm. So, y'all, I don't know where her brother is. I don't know if he's even here. But we know she's here. She's the Congresswoman, and she keeps insisting that she ain't going nowhere. But actually, Donald Trump can. And I believe he will get her butt the hell up on out of here because he can't stand her. And I believe he will get her out of here. It's just a matter of time. So, y'all, thank you so much for being here. We'll definitely do this again tomorrow. So, I have our Bible study set up and also another live that I'll be doing tomorrow at 11:45. So I hope to see you then. So wherever you are, whether on the East or West Coast, Shabbat Shalom to you, family. And please enjoy the rest of your night. Shalom, family.